A quick word on why there's no race report this week. By rights, I should be here sitting telling you all about the Aielo de Malferit event, one of the Circuit Vall Albaida runs. Last night, 5 minutes up the road, exactly the sort of race I never want to miss. I missed it. Not through injury, not through a ballot, not through some impossible qualifying time. I missed it because of, and I'm quoting the official terminology here, an important social event organised by Mrs Hamster. The precise nature of that event I'm not at liberty to disclose, partly out of respect and partly because I'm still not entirely sure what happened. But it was, I'm assured, important and social. So instead of a cheerful little report from Aielo de Malferit, you get this, a rant. You're welcome. And here's the thing that's been quietly winding me up. I sat there having missed a perfectly good local race that I could absolutely have entered, and I got to thinking all about the races I can't get into. The showcase ones, the majors, because if a man can be kept from the start line 5 minutes from his own front door by a social calendar, what earthly chance has he got against a ballot of 1.3 million other people? So I want to talk about the majors, and I want to be honest from the very start, because this is one of those subjects where it's extremely easy to sound bitter. So I'm going to aim, at the very least, to sound bitter in a reasonable, well-organised way. Let me get the fair bit out of the way first, because it matters, and because if I don't say it now, someone will rightly catch up with me in the comments. Nobody is owed a place on the start line. Nobody. Not me, not you, not the bloke who's entered the London ballot 11 years running and has a real good collection of rejection emails. A marathon is not a human right. The organisers don't owe me Tokyo just because I'd quite like to go. That's not how any of this works, and I know it. So this is not a rant about entitlement, I promise. It's a rant about something slightly more uncomfortable than that. It's a rant about the quiet, creeping feeling that the showcase events, the ones many runners aspire to do, are gradually, politely, and with excellent branding, closing the door on the ordinary runner and calling it progress while they do it. Here's the thing about getting into a major. There are broadly 3 ways in. Door number 1, be fast. Hit a qualifying time so sharp it could open letters. Wonderful if you're built that way. I am not built that way. I am built for the back of the pack, where the air is thick with the smell of deep heat and a quiet resignation that the end is going to be a little bit close. I am never going to be good for age, except possibly to the buffet. Door number 2, raise a fortune for charity. And look, I want to be careful here because the charity money is real, it's extraordinary, and it does genuine good in the world. I'm not knocking it, but the unspoken truth is that a charity place increasingly means committing to raise £2,000, £3,000, £4,000, which is a magnificent thing to do, and also for a lot of perfectly ordinary runners, simply not realistic. Asking your friends and family to fund your hobby has a ceiling, and that ceiling is somewhere normally around the third or fourth sponsored bake sale. Door number 3, pay. Buy a tour package with the flights and the hotel and the guaranteed entry, and watch the price climb to a number that would make your credit card lie down in a darkened room. If you've got it, fantastic, genuinely, but that's not a ballot. The entry fee is the value of a small car. So if you're not fast enough, not rich enough in sponsors, and not willing to remortgage, you're left with the actual ballot, the lottery, the bit that's supposed to be for the rest of us. Let me give you the number, because the number is genuinely crazy. The London Marathon's most recent edition received over 1.1 million applications. 1.1 million for fewer than 20,000 ballot places. That's less than a 2% chance. Sit with that for a second. You have a better statistical chance of a lot of things I won't list here than you do of getting a London ballot place. It stopped being a ballot in the cheerful might get lucky sense and become a lottery in the you will not get lucky, this is a tax on hope sense. And Tokyo, over 300,000 in the ballot. The odds are a rounding error. You don't apply to these races so much as light a small candle and make a wish. Now, the events are not blind to the demand. They can see the 1.1 million knocking at the door, and here is where my actual frustration lives. Not that they ignore it, but how they respond to it. Take the London announcement. For 2027, for 1 year only at the moment, London is going to be a 2-day event, the double. 100,000 runners across a weekend. And it was unveiled with the full corporate orchestra, our most ambitious evolution to date, a once-in-a-generation imagining. £400 million of economic benefit, a £150 million for charity. All of it true, I'm sure. All of it genuinely impressive. But here's the bit that made me laugh. In the dry way you laugh when something isn't really funny. They doubled the event. They put on a second entire marathon. And the ballot it's drawn from is 1.3 million people. So they doubled the field, the single biggest expansion in the race history, and your personal chance of getting in have doubled. But don't get your hopes up. That's the pattern that bothers me. The response to overwhelming demand from ordinary runners is to make the event spectacularly bigger. More participants, more fundraising, more legacy, more press release, without making it any easier for the enthusiast to get through the door. bigger is sold to us as better. And for the person refreshing their inbox, waiting for a ballot result, they're not the same thing at all. And it's not just London. The whole majors system is expanding. Sydney joined, Cape Town has joined, Shanghai almost certainly coming, from 6 to 7 to 8 to 9 majors. Now, on paper, more majors certainly sounds more like an opportunity, more start lines, more chances. But look closely at what's being built. It's not more access, it's more prestige. A new 9-star medal. So the majors pilgrimage gets longer and more expensive. More flagship cities to fly to. The bar doesn't come down, it just gets moved further away. The sports answer to too many people want in isn't let's widen the door, it's let's add another tier of exclusive things for people to chase. Here's the uncomfortable part. For a place like that, the queue in isn't a problem to be solved. The queue is now the whole point. The crowd outside waiting is exactly what makes the event look like it's worth getting into. So the enthusiasts, the 1.3 million of us, start to feel less like the customers being welcomed in and more like a crowd on the pavement waiting outside, whose very presence proves how exclusive the event must be. Here's where I must be honest about the limits of a man shouting into a microphone in his spare room. We're not going to fight the corporate machine. I am not going to bring down Abbott World Marathon Majors with a strongly worded YouTube video and slightly wobbly tripod. That war is unwinnable, and frankly, I certainly haven't got the legs for it. But not being able to win the war doesn't mean you have to play the game on their terms. So here's what I've landed on. A few of these are practical. One of them is the actual answer. First, if you really must grab a major, get in early on the new ones. There's that narrow window where a race is officially a major, but the world hasn't fully caught up yet. Sydney recently, Cape Town just got the title, and Shanghai's coming. They will never be more gettable than they are right now. The great irony of beating the lottery is that the trick is to chase the major while nobody's realised it is a major yet. Second, and this is the big one, the one I really want you to take away, you do not need a major to run something world class. Because there's the quiet secret the whole star system would rather you didn't dwell on. Major is a brand. It's not a quality rating. There's an entire division of marathons out there that are majors in every single way that actually matters. Enormous fields, blisteringly fast courses, streets packed 6 deep with spectators, faultless organisation, the full goosebumps on the start line experience. And the only box they don't tick is the little star next to the name. Paris, Valencia, Sevilla, Madrid, Manchester, Amsterdam, Frankfurt, Rotterdam. tens of thousands of runners, genuinely world-class courses. Valencia's is quick enough that an actual world record has been set on it. Huge crowds, the complete big city occasion. And because they haven't got the Majors badge, the demand is lower, so if you're quick enough with the mouse and keyboard, you can usually get in. You can usually afford it. Read that back, because it's the whole argument in miniature. The badge doesn't make the race any better. It just makes it more expensive and much harder to enter. So I don't need to fly to Tokyo and win a 1 in 300,000 lottery to run somewhere magnificent. I need to drive about an hour to Valencia. There's a lesson in that, and it's a slightly embarrassing one. Third, if you're stubborn, some of the majors quietly reward stubbornness. Tokyo will eventually guarantee you a place if you've been rejected enough times in a row. There are loyalty draws for runners who keep showing up. It's slow, it's a grind, but it's a door that opens on persistence rather than a sub-3 or a credit card. Persistence I can do. Persistence is basically my entire athletic identity. And fourth, and this is my favourite, build your own majors. Forget their list, make your own. Pick a theme and chase it. Maybe it's the Scenic 6, the 6 most beautiful routes you can get into. The ones where you spend half the race forgetting to look at your watch because you're far too busy looking at a mountain or a coastline or a valley full of orange trees. Maybe it's a great cities list. 6 marathons, 6 cities you've always wanted to visit, and you let the race be your excuse to finally go. Maybe if you have clearly developed a taste for suffering, it's the brutal half dozen, the 6 nastiest, hilliest, most ill-advised climbs within driving distance, collected like a man making a series of questionable life choices. The point is that it's your list. You set the qualifying time, which is turned up, and the medal nobody recognises is very often the one worth the most because it's the one you actually chose. Because here's the real answer, the one underneath all the others. While the majors have turned into a global lottery, you mostly can't win. There is an entire world of running going on that you absolutely can be part of. The grassroots events, the local ones, the ones held in slightly inconvenient places, with a start line that's a bit of rope and a man with a megaphone, where the medal, if there is one, looks like it came free in a cereal box, where the water stations are run by keen volunteers and the post-race refreshments are whatever the local bar could spare. Right on my doorstep, a brand new marathon appeared last year, the Elche-Alicante. No economic impact figure, no most ambitious evolution to date, no 1.3 million applicants, just a couple of towns deciding to put on a marathon that you can actually, genuinely enter and run. And that humble, uncorporate, slightly rough around the edges event is doing more for the ordinary enthusiast than the entire global juggernaut managed all year, because it lets people run. And it's the same spirit as the circuit I bang on about constantly. Local races, the village runs, the events where the bloke on the microphone knows your name and the whole thing cost less than the booking fee on a major. No one's reimagining anything, no one's issuing a press release, they're just running together on a Sunday morning. So, no, nobody's owed a place at the Tokyo start line. I meant that, but I think it's fair to feel a bit deflated watching the showcase events get bigger, shinier and more financially impressive every year, while quietly becoming less and less reachable for the very people who fuel them. And before I climb too high on this soapbox, let me be honest about my own running year, because I'm every bit as susceptible to a shiny badge as the next runner. Don't let me kid you. I'll almost certainly do a virtual New York again. You get the actual official New York Marathon medal. The organisers are genuinely fantastic, and the whole thing ran like clockwork. A proper legitimate way in, no complaints. Berlin was a different story, so no, I won't be rushing back to that one. There are a few virtual half marathons in my diary too. All the good kinds, I hasten to add. But here's the part I'm excited about. I've registered for the third time in successive years, a real entry that genuinely exists, for the Valencia Marathon. Because I can. A world-class race, an hour up the road that I could simply enter. Funny how that works. I might add Elche Alicante to the list too, though I haven't decided finally, and I reserve the full right to bottle it nearer the time. And underneath all of that, the thing that actually fills my running year, week in and week out, isn't a major, and it isn't a screen, it's the Circuit Vall Albaida. The village runs, the folding tables, Juan on the microphone, somehow always remembering my name. That's the running that's real to me. It hasn't got a star next to its name, and I've stopped wishing it did. Which brings me neatly to next week. Next week it's Bocairent, a mountain village which tells you everything you need to know about how comfortable my legs are going to be. If you run, and if you're anywhere near the Val d'Albaida, come and do it. And if you're watching this and fancy saying hi, come and find me. I'll be near the back, walking briskly up something steep and pretending it's a tactical decision. I'd genuinely love to see you there. Oh yes, and if like me, you're one of the London 1.1 million applicants, my very best wishes. I do have a plan B that's more realistic than plan A, and hope you do too. Take care.